Holy crap, everybody. Two of the biggest questions in Black Clover history. Who is the anti-magic devil? Why does Asta have no magic? Both are answered in the latest Black Clover chapter, chapter 268. Today, I'm going to be reviewing that, giving my summary, my analysis of what happened, just really mainly talking about those two things. Now, there's other stuff that happened besides those revelations, but I'm going to talk about mainly, once after I get my summary of the chapter, I'll mainly talk about, Anti-Magic Devil, who he is, and why, from one of my last theories, it might still be true, even though this chapter doesn't really talk about that. And then, while it's not blatantly stated in the manga, it's heavily implied. We know now why Asta has no magic, and it very well could be he actually was born with magic, but based on, I think you'll kind of figure out even maybe what's going on during my summary before I just straight up say what's going on. But yeah, that's what we're going to do for today, guys. But that being said, I am also a online personal trainer, so if you want to be trained by me, get in shape by the spring or the summer, get your summer bod, hit me up. My link to my website is below in the description. With that being said, let's get into this review. So this chapter starts off, and we get the anti-magic devil thinking about his past. He says, devils are born in the underworld. Now we get a little image of the underworld finally. And he says, from the time they're born, devils have a set place in the pecking order, and there's no way to change it. It's boring in the underworld, so to kill time, the devils on top terrorize the ones beneath them, and the lower devils beat up the ones below them. Since I was born without magic, I was solidly at the bottom of the heap. Ever since I was born, a day didn't go by when I didn't bleed. In that dunghill of a world, toying with humans is the biggest thrill any devil can get. And so, everybody wants to go to the other world where the humans are. Now, as you can see here, humans are in quotes. I wouldn't be surprised if they refer to all of the races as humans, like actual humans, and then elves and dwarves. Because, it showed the devil, Zagred, really enjoying toying with the elves. And so I think they might just consider humans, elves, dwarves as all essentially humans. One day, a ticked off higher devil threw me at the gate of the underworld. Since I had no magic, I went right through. So he thought he was going to be smashed to pieces and die, but he went right through the gate, and he ended up in the human world, and it looks like the Clover Kingdom. Now, even though he was incredibly weak and magicless, humans were still scared of him because he was a devil, and the magic knights actually did chase him down, and he was basically near death. But he was essentially picked up by Asta's mom, and she took care of him. Now, looks like Asta's mom's name is Lakita, and she essentially just helped him out. Now, she says her magic, she explains it like this. As long as it lacks mana, I can put it into and take it out of other things. That's how I brought you here, you and the firewood. So, her magic is really weird. It kind of reminds me of Henry in a way. But she does talk about how she found a 5-leaf clover grimoire the other day, and then now she's meeting a devil. She thinks that's crazy. But the anti-magic devil is surprised. He's like, why aren't you scared of me? And she's like, who would be scared of an injured little kid? And you don't have magic at all anyways. And then it gets revealed that she essentially, Asta's mom, her body steals magic and life energy from whatever is near her. As a snake tries to bite her, and, well, the snake dies. Now, this is just going to show why she really likes and sees this anti-magic devil as like a son to her at some point, because he's one of the only things who can be around her. She can't be around anybody because she basically eats their magic and eats their life energy. She is similar to Henry, so I'm wondering if she was cursed by the same devil like Henry was. That is going to be interesting. Maybe Henry is cursed by Magicula, and maybe that is also the thing for Asta's mom. But it looks like the anti-magic devil had a great life, as it shows a bunch of flashbacks. They're running and holding hands, they're fishing, playing with bugs, eating, playing around, sleeping together, and making snowmen. And basically, you have Asta's mom saying that that the devil isn't a bad guy. And she's talking about how she used to be alone, and basically the anti-magic devil saved her from that. But then it looks like Lieb, that's the name of the anti-magic devil, which means love in German, he starts freaking out, and it's Lucifero taking over his body. And Lucifero says, "Who'd believe a devil would be in the human world without making a contract with the human? I'm glad I killed time by looking for him." And then Lieb thinks to himself, and this is an important thing, one of the highest devils my body isn't listening to. Lakita is freaking out, and she tries to basically go against Lucifero, and Lucifero's like, "She's absorbing my magic. What's going on?" And we get a flashback to when we see Lisita. She said, "This time I'm not letting go." Lisita in the past, it shows her dropping off a kid in a basket at a door. This means Lisita in the past dropped off Asta. So this is definitely Asta's mom. I think it just kind of has to be. Now, this is crazy because I think you already kind of said her magic is like Henry's. This probably means that Lisita had absorbed or accidentally stolen Asta's magic, maybe while she was carrying him as a baby, and she was maybe noticing that she was absorbing his life energy now as a baby. He is gonna die if she keeps watching him, so she had to drop him off at the church. Meanwhile, Lieb already had no magic, so she could raise him as a son. But we see Lucifero stab Lisita in the stomach, or I guess just punch his arm through her, and this is why Asta, or not Asta, yeah, I guess it was Asta, went berserk. It wasn't because of his memories, it was because of Lieb's memories. You have Lisita getting impaled, and you have Gauche getting impaled. Then you have Lucifero basically saying that she failed and he's going to return. And she's, "I'm sorry, I'm dumb, so this is the only way I can think of to protect you from that guy. I'll use my magic to seal you into this grimoire. By the time you emerge, I'm sure you'll have grown up big and strong." And then she says, "Live, Lieb, my dear son." This proves that Lisita, this memory is from Lieb looking at Lisita, because this is the memory from the flashback when fighting Dante. Then you have Lieb calling Lisita mom, and then him going into the grimoire. So that is how the anti-magic devil got into the grimoire. And we have it with a monologue from Lieb. "I'll never forgive them. This malice will never disappear. Devils are scum, every last one of them, and so I'm gonna kill them all, even if I have to steal your body to do it." And then you get a really menacing look from Lieb. Now, great chapter. Absolutely love the lore and the stuff we're getting. Now, like I said, Lisita is the mom of Asta. She dropped him off at the church. Now that answers why Asta was dropped off at the church and why he had no magic. It's because Lisita basically steals magic from people, and so she was also stealing life energy from Asta, so she had to drop him off at the church. And we get the identity of Lieb. He was a devil, and he was bullied. He had no magic, and then he got basically accidentally teleported or transferred to the real world because he didn't have magic, so he could pass through the gates. And then Lisita saw Lieb as somebody she could raise because he was fine to her magic. He wasn't really affected by it. Now, as you guys have probably seen in one of my recent theories, that the anti-magic devil, his identity is actually the son of Latentetia, the other son that survived. Now, this is still a possibility. Now, maybe Lieb didn't have magic because Lieb was in the womb of Tetia, and then the royals used the magic stealing device, and then you have Lieb. Maybe he turned into a devil because of the reincarnation curse, or I don't really know. Maybe Lieb doesn't know his past from before the Underworld, and it does say devils are born in the Underworld, but we also know that devils can come through different means, like licked, and it could be that, yeah, devils are born in the Underworld because once you become a devil, you're technically born a devil, and then you would go to the Underworld. So I don't know exactly. It still could be possible that this is Licked Jr., but I don't really, I'm way less confident in the theory now. But this could also just be that, like how the Cliff-Off is the shadow of the Apostles of Sephiroth, that Lieb could be the shadow of Asta. And that is why he looks similar. Similar stature, similar body, similar hair. So that could be a reason why Lieb looks so much like Asta. But what makes this so great, this is what I wanted, is I wanted the Anti-Magic Devil to be a parallel of Asta. Asta is the ostracized, the peasant of the human world. Lieb is just the same thing, but in the devil world. So it makes them a great team up. But what makes it even better is Asta didn't even get to have his mom. Lieb got that experience. Lieb got the experience that Asta deserved. So we might get like moments in the future where Lieb tells Asta about Lisita, Asta's mom, and maybe he could even see her. Maybe if Lieb has one of those powers. But this also brings up some inconsistencies. It was said that Sekre, as Nero, watched over the 5-leaf anti-magic grimoire. Now, this kind of shows that it maybe wasn't, because Lisita had it. It was in her possession. So, if Sekre was watching it over, why did this happen? You know? Because Sekre said she woke up for a few, or she fell asleep for a few years, woke up, and then watched over the grimoire for 500 years. Well, Asta, at this point, has already been dropped off the church. So this is like 15 years before the beginning of Black Clover at the longest. So, yeah, did Tabata mess up here? Does Sekre does not know what she's talking about? Because that doesn't add up. Like, why did she let this grimoire get taken? Why wasn't she here when Lisita had the grimoire? It's definitely weird. We'll have to definitely see more. But yeah, it did look like that Lucifero, he tried to take Lieb, the Anti-Magic Devil's body. But now this is the real mystery now, I guess. Where does the anti-magic come from? Right? This is a sword grimoire, a sword magic grimoire, right? Where does the anti-magic come from? How did Lieb get it? Or did he just materialize it later when he got older? Did he gain it? Or is that just what happened? Or this is something I talked about in the past. Is this really not anti-magic? Or is it like demon light magic? Or not demon light magic, demon sword magic. But then again, why is it not called demon sword magic? And they could sense demon light magic, so why couldn't they sense demon sword magic? So it is very different. So I wonder, really wondering, how the anti-magic fits into this equation. Because at this time, it seems Lieb had no powers. He had showed no powers of anti-magic. But then again, he's a kid. We know that younger people, they don't really show their powers. But I don't know. It's definitely interesting. Really looking forward to see what's happening in the later weeks. We're going to definitely probably see Asta fight Lieb, maybe. Looks like they might fight a little bit, then Asta will convince him to not, because, I mean, they both essentially have the same mother. So, I mean, they also have pretty much the same goals. I mean, why wouldn't Lieb want to help Asta defeat the Dark Triad, who are all possessed by high-ranking devils, including the one who literally killed your mother? Lieb, just team up with Asta. That's what's going to happen. But, yeah, great chapter. Really, really good. But yeah, we still don't know. This could still technically be the League Junior, although, kind of iffy on that. It could just be he is the shadow of Asta, and he's just supposed to be the parallel. He is a devil he's a peasant devil. He's a peasant devil. No magic. But yeah, so now we know who and why Asta was dropped off the church. That's because his mother steals magic and life energy just by existing. So that's why Asta doesn't have magic, and that's why he was dropped off of the church. The Anti-Magic Devil is a low-ranking devil that did not have magic. He was transferred to the real world and was raised by Asta's mom, and then Lucifero tried to take over Lieb's body, and then Lisita stopped, saved him, and then transferred Lieb into the 5-leaf clover grimoire. still doesn't answer where the anti-magic came from. So I want to know your guys' thoughts down below where the anti-magic came from. Or is this just a power that Leaf always had and didn't know because he was too young? Let me know your thoughts down below. But please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...